What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good, man? This is your boy Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. As you guys can see, I have a very special guest, man. JC Sports Talk. My man does amazing work when it comes to this Eagles content creation game, man. He doesn't waste any time. Give you all the energy, all the vibes. Straight no chaser. My man is on the road to 4K and he's on his way to 20K. He on his way to 50K, man. The energy don't stop, the grind don't stop. But my man is gonna always bring that energy, gonna always bring that passion, gonna always bring that analysis, man. JC, how are you feeling, my man? Long time no see.
What is going on, T man? Man, I missed you, man. I missed the vibe. I missed this moment with you, man. From day one, you've been rocking with me, man. And thank you for bringing me on your platform. And what a time to reunite again. It feels so good. Now let's get on.
For sure, man. I couldn't have put it, any better myself, right? It's no better time to really get back together, man. And it's just a beautiful time, in the area. It's a beautiful time in Philly. The Philadelphia Eagles are in the NFC Championship. Let's say that one more time. The Philadelphia Eagles are in the NFC Championship en route to their Super Bowl berth. Can we get the second Super Bowl within the past 5 years? I say we can. But real quick, before we get too deep into the nitty-gritty, I want to get your overall feeling, your overall vibe of just how this season went from beginning to end, and just how you feeling right now, man. What's the vibes? Where you at? How are you feeling about everything that we've experienced over the past 18 to 19 weeks?
Man, look, from day one in training camp, man, the day we got AJ Brown, we traded for AJ Brown. I knew that this season was about to be special. You know what I mean? We reunited with his best friend, and when a quarterback and wide receiver get together, they're on the same wavelength. Magic happens. He brought that TO mentality, that dog mentality. And then everybody throughout training camp, you could tell iron sharpen iron sharpen iron, the best D line versus the best O line, day in, day out, day in and day out. And from week one, they came out and it's been takeoff ever since then. Look, this team is special, man. I've been saying it all season. This team is special. People try to compare to 2017, 18. A lot of similarities. From the second year starting quarterback, the second year head coach. Being doubted, and the free agency, went out and made some big moves with James Bradberry, Chauncey Gardner, Kaiser White. Everything was lining up to repeat the 2017-18 season, and I'm not disappointed at all. Number one seed, winning the division, and now hosting 60 minutes away. Let me say that again. 60 freaking minutes away from going to Arizona and playing in the Super Bowl. February 2018, February of 2023, two-time in 5 years. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. So I can't wait to see how this team, you went out last week, had a great game. Are you satisfied? And that's what we're going to get into. Is this team satisfied?
And I don't think they are, JC. I'll be honest with you. I don't think they're satisfied in any way, right? And you mentioned all the names they brought in, right, throughout the offseason. And even throughout the season, right before the trade deadline. They went out and got guys like AJ Brown. They went and got CJ Gardner Johnson, Haason Reddick, Kaiser White, James Bradberry, Ndamukong Suh, Linval Joseph, Zach Pascal. They drafted Jordan Davis. They drafted Cam Jurgens, Grant Calcaterra, Kyron Johnson, N'Kobe Dean. I can go on and on about the additions, man. I hope I'm not missing anybody. But, when you really think about what Howie Roseman did to bring all these guys in, you think about all the moves he's made, and then you think about the impact that they've made, right? As a matter of fact, Eagles had 6 All-Pros on the team, and I believe out of those 6 All-Pros, 3 of those guys were brought in via free agency. and or trade, because AJ was traded for, Haason was brought in via free agency, and James Bradberry was brought in free agency as well, right? So when you think about all the moves that have been made, right, and the impact they've had, that the immediate impact, the vital impact, right? They're not just doing their jobs, right? They're making game-changing plays. They are the engine to this thing. So what's been your evaluation of just the off-season additions, the in-season additions? What's been your evaluation of the guys that weren't here last year that are here this year?
Man, let me tell you something, man. Every weakness that the Philadelphia Eagles had coming into the season, going into the draft and free agency, Howie Roseman, like, he did a phenomenal job. You know what I mean? I can't poo-poo on him. I mean, he bought himself at least 5 more years in my eyes. You know what I mean? Because the additions that he brought in are here for a long time. So, you know what I mean? And now they are playing to a high level. Look at this. Have you noticed that every team in the offseason that had issues, that did not fix their issues, has been bounced? Like, you can't stop the run, you didn't fix your issue, you're bounced. And I mean, you can't get to the quarterback and you didn't fix your issue, you got bounced. Every team that had problems throughout the regular season showed up in the postseason because they never addressed their weakness throughout the season. And Howie Roseman, our biggest problem was we couldn't stop the run. We were getting gashed. He went out and got Sue and Lindell Joseph, and that was like the cherry on top of the beautiful, sexy chocolate cake. Just drop the cherry, and that's what we needed. That was our issue, stopping the run in the middle. Ever since then, I mean, we've been moving up in the rankings as far as run stopping defense. So every team that did not address the issue, they got beat in the postseason. The fraudulent came out. The Vikings, they've been trolling all offseason. Miracle play after miracle. When it came to the postseason, bounced because their flaws came back. The Giants, same thing. You know, they've been squeaking by, getting lucky, came to postseason, bounced. The Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, been turnover machine, came in the postseason, bounced. The Bucks, one of the worst defense in the league, averaging what? They put up 24 points like twice the whole year, bounced. Every team that had issues, has been bounced besides the Philadelphia Eagles right now because we fixed our issues. When Howie saw something, he went out and fixed it, and that's the biggest takeaway from all this addition is you fix on the go. Don't wait till it's too late to fix it.
Yeah, it's funny. I think about the rest of the division, right? You brought up the Cowboys, you brought up the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the Commanders didn't make the playoffs, but out of all the teams in the division, the Eagles made the most advancements at the most positions, right? The Eagles dominated not just the NFL, but for the most part, they took care of business in their division, right? Swept the Giants, split with the Commanders, split with the Cowboys. I expected splits in both of those matchups, Cowboys and Commanders. I expected us to sweep the Giants, so my divisional prediction came true, right? Going 4-2 in the division. So that came into fruition, right? What's been your thoughts on how the Eagles have responded to the division when you think about how they were handled last year and how the Eagles responded this year, right? Because typically when you build a team, right, you want to build your team first and foremost to dominate your division. And then at that point, you graduate to dominating your conference and so on and so forth, right? So when you think about the Eagles and how they played this year, and you think about the other teams in the division, the Cowboys, the Giants, and the Commanders, right? How do you, what's your evaluation of that, right? How do you make sense of that and just how everything played out amongst the division?
Look, first of all, who would have thought the NFC East would have been the toughest division in football? Like, if somebody would have said, hey, the NFC East would be the toughest division in football, you'd be like, what? Okay. All right. It's only 2 teams in there, Eagles, Cowboys, right? You know what I mean? We went into the offseason with one thing in mind, to build this team to be better than the Cowboys. The Cowboys subtracted, we added. You know what I mean? So automatically in the offseason, we won the offseason, but we know everything got to click on the field. So with that being said, I feel like that every team took a step back in the division throughout the draft, throughout the free agency, that we were the cream of the crop in that division. Yes, we split with the Commanders. We had to play one of our worst game of the season to split with the Commanders, and we still had an opportunity to sweep the Commanders. Like, you know what I mean? Yes, we split with the Cowboys. 4 turnovers, backup quarterback. We still had an opportunity to beat the Cowboys. So basically, we could have swept the division. That's how good we are.
Don't you think it's funny? Sorry to cut you off, but don't you think it's funny?
Yeah, you good?
That in both divisional losses, right? We turned the ball over 4 times apiece. 8 turnovers in 2 division losses. And we still could have won those games.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We head and shoulders clearly above our division. Like, we're getting better. We are young at the right pieces. The wide receiver, the offensive line. I'm just tweaking there. You know what I mean? Our defense. I mean, our quarterback. That's the main thing. Our quarterback is young. You know what I mean? And he's already an all-pro, the only all-pro in the division, the only, MVP front runner in the division. So we are looking good. And we got some draft picks coming up. So the Eagles are only going to get better. And that's the scary part. So we might actually have a back-to-back division champ next year. But, hey, that's a long ways from there. But I'm telling you, we are looking good for now and the future. And I'm excited. Because the rest of the division, to me, the Cowboys are strapped. They don't know if that Prescott is it. They don't know if Zeke is coming back or it. They have a lot of free agents that want to get paid. That's coming up. Diggs, Parson. I mean, those guys are going to want to get paid. So they has a little bit issue. The Commanders. They just got the Commanders. They can't even find a quarterback. The Giants are up and up, so it depends what they do in free agency. And that was a home run hire by the Giants by going out and getting Brian Daboll. You know what I mean? So I won't be mad if he does win the Coach of the Year, because he did a phenomenal job to take that roster with your key wide receiver, have like under double digits catches, 1 touchdown the whole season in Galladay. You know what I mean? And still manage, to almost win double-digit game, make it to the divisional round. So the Giants and Eagles are looking good. To everybody else, they might be taking a step back. So this division might look completely different next season.
Yeah, definitely. I think out of the teams that's going to take the biggest or that's going to have the biggest drop-off, I definitely think it's going to be the Cowboys because of all the things you said, right? That loss and the way they lost put them in turmoil, right? It would have been different if Dak Prescott balled and the defense blew it. You know what I mean? It would have been different. But the fact that the defense balled out, it's so funny. It played out exactly how people thought it would, right? Everyone knew that the Cowboys had this special defense, right? And they had moments where they kind of fell off, during the season, but they managed to play their best ball when it mattered, and that was in the playoffs, right? They took care of business against the Buccaneers, right? A bad team. Let's keep it real. It's a bad team. But I still gave credit to Dak for taking care of business because that's what you're supposed to do, right? But then you actually go up against a team that has some talent, right? The number one defense, to be frank about it. And Dak Prescott just completely looked like a shell of himself. Yet the defense still showed up. The defense made Brock Purdy look human. And they actually should have won that game. Yet
absolutely,
they still couldn't get it done. And the weakness, the glaring issue was so obvious. And it was Dak Prescott. He didn't get the job done. Everybody else showed up but him, right? He had decent protection, only got sacked 1 time. The rookie right tackle, Tyler Smith, did a pretty good job on Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
Nick Bosa, he only had 1 quarterback hit. He didn't have no sacks. So you think about it from that perspective, and it's like, okay, the Cowboys, they blew it in the playoffs once again. Dak Prescott showed that maybe he isn't the guy, and it's crazy because I have a lot of respect for Dak Prescott, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've personally always considered him to be top 10. Personally, I know a lot of people don't agree with that, but I feel like he's a top 10 quarterback. I watched him play enough, I watched him play enough in some decent moments to say, okay, that guy I see the talent. He makes some very good throws, but then when the lights get the brightest, When Jerry Jones he start huffing and puffing a little too loud, man, things just start getting a little spooky in Dallas. But, regardless, they didn't take care of business. The Philadelphia Eagles did. The Philadelphia Eagles
So is
dominated
Dak
the
Prescott
Giants.
a Kirk Cousins?
Now we having some fun today. I actually had that conversation with somebody. I said Dak Prescott is Kirk. This is how I describe Kirk Cousins or Dak Prescott. I personally believe Dak Prescott is Kirk Cousins with the PR machine. Basically, Kirk Cousins is Dak Prescott without the PR machine. You know what I mean? Because remember when Dak came out and he became a starter, he's going to be the guy. He's next up. He's going to be the one. And, he's been with that organization for 7 years, and they've given him weapons after weapons after weapons after weapons and still couldn't get it done when it matters most. You see, Kirk Cousins can't play at night. And Dak Prescott can't, and obviously Dak Prescott can't play in the playoffs. For some reason, the divisional round is like Casper the Friendly Ghost. I don't know what it is. But I don't think that's crazy to say that Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins are basically the same guy. They both get their numbers. They both have always had a bevy of talent and still couldn't get it done. The only difference is Dak actually had defense. Kirk Cousins didn't have a defense.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
And it's so funny. And I'm going to take it a step further, right? Because I want to get to these playoff matchups that we've seen so far. The Vikings losing to the Giants, which I knew they would.
Me too. I
called that because I saw the first matchup and I'm like, the Giants should have won that game. But I digress. I had the Giants winning that game, but the way the Giants beat them and the way the Vikings lost had us thinking, whoa, are the Giants really that good? Right? It had us scratching our head a little bit, JC. But, I want to ask you, right, because I want to take this step by step. When the Giants beat the Vikings, as you and I, again, both knew that would happen.
Yeah.
When the Giants beat the Vikings, what was your thoughts going into our divisional round matchup with them?
We're not the Vikings. That was my thought. We are not the Vikings. Look, I've seen the Vikings play. Unfortunately, man, it was on TV a lot this season. So I've seen the Vikings play. Now, I mean, every team that played the Vikings, their quarterback looked like superstars. Like the Vikings had one of the worst defense this whole year. Like this whole season, they was ranked 31st in defense. So, I mean, they was winning games because of other teams shooting themselves in the foot last minute, like the Bills, like the Commanders, last minute, like the Colts. A 33-3 or 30-3 halftime score, and then they come back. So the Vikings been frauds all season long. I never had faith in the Vikings. So I picked the Giants to win. So when the Giants did what they did, I was like, okay. And I was like, yes. And now they're going to have to come to Philly, all hyped up. That was their Super Bowl. The Giants played a masterpiece, Picasso, whatever the painter name is.
Magnifique.
Yeah, magnifique. They played a great game. I mean, balance. Man, Daniel Jones looked like the next coming of Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts put together. I mean, this dude was on it, and they played a wonderful game. But just like the Vikings versus the Saints, they won the last minute, shootout 17, the Hail Mary, they called. That was the Super Bowl. And then they came to Philly and reality set in. We are not the Vikings. Now, we are not the Saints. We're not going to shoot ourselves in the foot. And that's what I thought. I was at that game. And I'm like, look, it's over. We're not the Vikings. They won the Super Bowl. Look, it's kind of hard, though. The Giants did overachieve this season. I mean, we all could say, hey, congratulations to them, but they weren't supposed to be on our level at all. And we showed it. We went out there this past Saturday and we showed them exactly where they belong, third or fourth in the division, and you're not ready to play under the bright lights with the big dogs. So I wasn't really scared of the Giants. Like I always tell people, I don't fear a team, but you have to respect them. You have to go out there with you know what? I respect you enough. I'm going to come after you. I'm going to blitz you. You know what I mean? So because I don't want you to get no head of steam, no nothing. I'm gonna respect you enough, but I'm not, you know, fair. Like you don't put no fear into me. So look, the Giants, hey, a great season. Congratulations, but hey, they're not ready for this yet.
Yeah, man. I've been telling people like we don't breathe the same air. That's what I always say, right? That's my little slogan, right? I got to get that put on t-shirts or something. We don't breathe the same air. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just the Giants. They got excited. They thought they had something. They thought they had something going. And actually, that loss to us was kind of a blessing in disguise for them. You know, I'm gonna tell you why.
Yeah.
Because it made them realize, okay, Daniel Jones ain't that guy. It reminded them
But
that
is he not? But is he or is he not without? Because he don't have no wide receivers though.
That's true. That's true. He has no weapons. That's true. That's true. But he just looked like a deer in headlights when we played him. He like it was one. It was almost like he was scared to throw the ball. Like I never seen somebody pat. He turned to the Carson Wentz 3 pat. Like just he didn't. It seemed like he didn't know what to do. But the Eagles took care of business, and it was such a dominant performance. And what makes it so great is because of the fact that when you play a team that you're obviously superior than, you want to make sure that you make it known that you're superior. You want to make sure that everybody in the league see that it's levels to this thing. So because if we would have struggled against the Giants, then I would have had questions going into this game. You know, going into the NFC Championship with the 49ers, I would have a lot of questions, right? But the game is due. The game is almost here, right? 49ers, they have a talented roster. This is a battle with the football guys. This is a clash of the Titans, the number 1 and the number 2 defense, right? Two of the best offenses in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Two of the most dominant teams, two of the most physically imposing teams in the NFL, two of the best rushing teams in the NFL. This is literally going to be a bloodbath, right? There will be casualties, but
absolutely.
But I believe the Philadelphia Eagles have more than a puncher's chance. I think they win by double digits. But I want to get your evaluation of this matchup, right? And then also, I want to also discuss the roster with you. I kind of want to go player for player, right? Or position group by position group.
Yeah.
Comparing both teams. So what's your overall evaluation of the 49ers and your overall evaluation of this matchup that's to come?
Look, the 49ers are a great team. All right, I'm not going to lie. Yes, they lost to the Bears, the Falcons, and I think the Broncos. I understand, but that was early in the season with a totally different quarterback in Jimmy G. You know what I mean? A game manager. Like you could just watching the 49ers now, you could tell that their playbook has expanded a little bit more. And then C-Mac wasn't there yet. So this is a completely different team, very skilled in every position, offense, defense. This is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles' toughest matchup. Point blank, all season long.
But also, to add to your point, it's going to be the 49ers' toughest matchup as well. Because technically, they've actually had an easier schedule than us.
Mm-hmm.
Technically. But again, like to your point, I don't want to knock you off. This is going to be their toughest matchup of the season, and it's going to be ours. So this is literally this is the matchup this is the matchup NFL fans deserve. This is the matchup we all deserve, right? This is the matchup football fans deserve, right?
Absolutely. Because look, going into last game, the Cowboys versus 49ers, I kind of knew that the Cowboys had weaknesses and they was going to lose that game. But coming into this matchup versus Philly, it's hard for me to find a weakness, versus the Philadelphia Eagles. So this is going to be the best matchup by far. And that's why these tickets are more than last year NFC Championship game tickets between the Rams and the Bucks. This is the toughest. Wait, was it the Rams and the Bucks, or who did the Bucks play in NFC Championship?
The Rams and the 49ers.
Yeah, the Rams and the 49ers. So this is more expensive than last year's NFC Championship because these are the two best teams all season long. I mean, the fans are dying to see it. The NFL is dying to see it. So two evenly matched teams. But we are going to go over by position. So this is going to be a great game. But just like you, I do see us winning by double digits.
Okay. So let's do it. All right. So I'm looking at Okay, let's start on the defense side of the ball, right?
Okay.
So let's start with the defensive line for both sides.
Okay.
The 49ers, right? They have Samson, Samson Ibukam, they have Javon Kinlaw, Eric Armstead, and Nick Bosa on their defensive line, right? And then when you think about the Philadelphia Eagles, they have Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, Josh Sweat. You can throw in Haason Reddick in there because he's an edge rusher. Jordan Davis, Lamal Joseph, Robert Quinn, and Dominic Sue, right? So when you think about the defensive line groups, right, who do you think has the edge from the defensive line? And then we'll start to fill in more details.
All right, let me ask you something.
Okay.
What's greater, 70 or 44?
70.
Because that's how many sacks the Eagles have. And that's how many sacks the 49ers have. So, you know what I mean? We almost, you know what I mean? Like we almost 3/4 way of almost doubling, you know, their sack totals. You cannot go one-on-one on anybody on the Philadelphia Eagles and expect that you're going to be better than that guy. Because we got 4 guys on that defensive line with double-digit sack. You know what I mean? Bosa, you stop Bosa, neutralize Bosa. Like that defensive line, I don't see that defensive line doing a lot of damage. So I will take the Philadelphia Eagles defensive line because of the depth also, man. The depth, you know, Fletcher Cox, you know, Hargrave, the Milton Williams, you know what I mean? Like the Josh Sweat, the Brendan Graham, the Reddick, you know what I mean? So we have a lot of depth on that defensive line that we're going to be fresher going into the second half, the fourth quarter. When it's crunch time, we can have packages. I mean, we are the better defensive line. 70 sacks. Right now, we got 5 more this past weekend. We have 75 sacks. They're probably at 45. So like 30 more sacks in them. I mean, you can't stop this defensive line even if you try.
You know, it's interesting because Nick Bosa, he leads their team in sacks with 18.5. You want to know who the next closest player, how many sacks they have? 5.
Probably 5. Okay.
5. But here's the thing. They built their defensive line very – it's fascinating how they built their defensive line. They have this really dominant pass rusher, and then the rest of the guys are really, really, really good run stuffers. Really good run stuffers. So what do you say to someone who says, okay, the Eagles have the edge in terms of pass rushing, but the 49ers have the edge in terms of stopping the run?
I'm going to tell them, go back to week 6 and watch the Cowboys versus Eagles. All right, how Micah Parsons was neutralized because you cannot prepare. You cannot, I don't care how many times you try, you have not faced a dual threat quarterback like Jalen Hurts. It's just like me trying to prepare for Lamar Jackson, you know what I mean? Or a Michael Vick. You can't fake it throughout the whole week. I mean, you can't simulate it. I mean, there's nobody with the speed, with the vision, you know, with the read. You say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna make believe you coming in. We've been running it all season long. I mean, and that's how we're gonna neutralize the whole pass stuff because we about to run at the edge or run at Bosa. So we're gonna neutralize all that. Hey, they're good at the run stopping. Trust me. I put no stock into that because the Eagles rarely run inside without doing an RPO. They're not a straight up I formation, hand the ball off, run inside. I mean, they had Mariota leading the way, Kelsey leading the way. The Eagles are very good with not running straight ahead, but making your linebackers run sideline to sideline. So definitely, I'm not worried about that at all, man. I don't care who you are. We're going to run right through you.
Hey, I like the mindset. Now, let's take it a step further, right? Let's talk about the linebacker core. The Eagles linebackers, obviously, you know, we're going to focus on 2 guys at the position per team because we're in this modern NFL, most teams are playing nickel, right? You're not really seeing too many defenses that have 3 linebackers on the field. You're more likely to see a situation where there are 3 safeties on the field rather than 3 linebackers, right? Because some teams like that big nickel, right? But as far as the linebacker position, typically you see 2 linebackers on the field. The Eagles have Kaiser White and TJ Edwards, whereas the 49ers have Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner. And they also have another guy in Aziz Al-Shair. But again, you know, I think about this and I just can't give the edge to the Eagles at linebacker. I just can't. What do you say?
Yeah, look, I agree. I completely agree. Fred Warner is an all-pro for a reason. He's a beast. Greenlaw, the speed and tackling. It's rare to find a linebacker with speed and that could tackle And Fred Warner, man, shout out to him, man. He's an all-pro, probably the best linebacker in football right now in the NFL is Fred Warner. I mean, he got all the tools. He could cover like CD Lamb. You saw it, right?
That was
You saw
wild. I'll
it,
be honest.
right?
That was a little spooky how fast he
Ah!
he kept
No,
stride for stride. I was like, damn.
stride for stride, man. You know what I mean? And he is no, he could tackle. I've been watching him the past couple of years. He is the highest paid linebacker for a reason. So we definitely don't have the edge. I mean, TJ Edwards, he's solid. Kaiser White, you know what I mean, solid. But there's no Fred Warner. Fred Warner is better than both those guys combined. And
Yeah.
that's a scary part. You know what I mean? And then Greenlaw, another hungry, fast linebacker, sideline to sideline. They definitely got the edge at linebacker.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting how the linebackers respond to the zone read and the RPOs with the Philadelphia Eagles because they have speed. They're speed and they're very physical. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that pans out. Let's take it a step further, right, to the DBs, right? I would separate the corners and the safeties, but I just want to compare the DB rooms, period.
Okay.
Safeties and corners included. Now, when it comes to the 49ers DB room, they have Trevarius Ward, Talanoa Hufanga, who I think is a stud, but Talanoa Hufanga, Tashawn Gibson Sr., Diamador Lenore, and they also have Samuel Womack III. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles, and me personally, I give the edge to the Philadelphia Eagles. They have James Bradberry, Darius Slay, Cedric Garner-Johnson. Then you got the young blood and Reed Blankenship. You still got Avonte Maddox who's coming back, Marcus Epps. So who do you give the edge to in terms of the DB room, safeties and corners included?
Easy, man. Easy the Philadelphia Eagles, man, because we do have two all pros, regardless if big play slate made it or not. But the NFL, the players know that he's an all pro. He got voted, the NFL players, So in my mind, we have two all pro, and we have Look, how lucky are we to have Chauncey Gardner from safety to nickel? So now all across your nickel and your two outside corners, all of them are shut down, all pros, interception leaders. And then you have the big hitting stud and Reed Blankenship. You know what I mean?
He surprised me, by the way. He's still growing in terms of coverage, but the Giants tried to target him, right? They tried to target him in that game. And then he tightened up after the first few plays because you noticed they tried to go at him, but then it got to a point where they couldn't really exploit him anymore. He's learning so fast on the job, and it's going to be really interesting to see how, when Avonte Maddox comes back, what's going to be the game plan. Obviously, I'm pretty sure they'll move CJ back to safety and Avonte back to the slot. But yeah, go on. What else do you have to say about this DB room, man?
Yeah, hey, look, we have the better DB, and the whole if Maddox come back, look, I still keep Reed on the field, especially for this matchup. That's the problem. Reed, he's a hard-hitting safety, and with this matchup, we're gonna need guys that are not afraid to stick their nose in there and make those tackles. And he's one of those guys that's not afraid to do that. So we definitely have the edge, at the DB and the safety position. So kudos to the Eagles, defensive line and the DB room.
Yeah, definitely. If I had to give the edge to the 49ers in any way in the DB room, I believe Talanoa Hufanga is much better than Marcus Epps. Talanoa, he's a hard hitter. He tackles well. He's all over the field, right? He has pretty decent ball skills, but I think overall, like you said, I think the Eagles just have the overall better DB room. But Talanoa Hufanga, I think that's where they have the edge at one position at the safety, right? Not the entire safety room, but just that strong safety spot. But let's move to the offense, right? Now, we're going to start at the quarterback position, and it kind of goes into what Sydney Family is saying. Shout out to Sydney Family holding it down in Australia, man. I really appreciate you. Sydney Family is a very loyal subscriber and listener and viewer to the content. He says, I think the Niners' losses were against mobile quarterbacks. That's interesting because they lost to the Atlanta Falcons. They lost to the Chicago Bears. They also lost to the Chiefs, but I mean, it's the Chiefs, right? And I believe they lost to the Broncos. So Russell Wilson doesn't really run anymore. Yeah. But you think about Mariota, who was the quarterback for the Falcons at one point, and well, at that time, and then Justin Fields. Yeah, that's something to think about, right?
It is.
The Niners' losses were against mobile quarterbacks. That's definitely something to think about. But sticking to the quarterback position, thank you, Sydney, for the $2.99 super chat, by the way. I really appreciate you. Sticking to the quarterback position, right? Who has the edge at quarterback? I think it's fairly obvious.
Look, hey, the All-Pro, the MVP front runner, the Pro Bowl, you know what I mean? The about to be a $300 million quarterback, you know what I mean? Jalen.
$200 million. Let's pump the brakes on that, man. We got to make sure we fill this roster up.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So Jalen Hurts, man. I mean, like this, it's mind-boggling to me listening to these, so-called experts saying that Brock Purdy is better than a guy that's been playing the whole season. He's 15-1. He's 15-1 this whole season. I mean, there's multiple times in the fourth quarter he's sitting down, drinking a beer on the sideline because we are up by that much. And he's been dominating, man, just throwing touchdown after touchdowns with his legs. 13 rushing touchdowns, I believe, 22 through the air, 23 to the air. I mean, this dude, in my opinion, is clearly, like Joy say, big. You know what I mean? There's a big gap. You know what I mean? There's a big gap between Hurts and Mr. Irrelevant, Mr. Brock Purdy, Mr. flexing his little two muscles that he got. You know what I mean? So there's no comparison. So we definitely have the edge in this matchup by a mile.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. It's just no comparison in terms of the quarterback position. Yes, Brock Purdy is having a pretty exciting, a pretty stable, pretty exciting run of games, right? I think he's on like a 7 or 8 game winning streak, him personally. The 49ers are currently on like a 12 game winning streak, something like that. But he has. See, here's the difference, right? For me, and it's rather simple. And I think Joy says something like this, right? Shout out to those. I love Speak. Speak is one of my favorite shows right now. Shady.
Shady.
I just love their dynamic. It's funny. But what to me the biggest thing about, or the biggest difference between those two guys, Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts, is that Brock Purdy is a cog, a piece of a system, right? He's a cog in the system. But Jalen Hurts is the system. This don't go without this man. Whereas though clearly we see with the 49ers offense, plug and play, baby. Plug and play. You know what I'm saying? I could put one of my little cousins back there. He could probably take care of business. And I got to give credit to Kyle Shanahan for making such a bulletproof, such a quarterback-proof system. And that's why I think this game is going to be so competitive. Even though I have them winning by double digits, I think it's going to be 10, right? I think it's going to be one of those things where the Eagles kind of just pull away a little late, and it's going to be hard for Brock Purdy to just try to, match Jalen Hurts blow for blow. I don't really have my score prediction out just yet, but I just think they're going to win by double digits. That's just something that's resonating with me right now. So let's transition to the running back position, right? I got to give the edge to the 49ers, man. CMC, Elijah Mitchell, and then you compare that to Miles Sanders, Kenny Gainwell, Boston Scott. I just got to give the edge, man, to Christian McCaffrey. The difference he's made on that offense, man, ever since he got there, they haven't lost since he got there. So it's something to think about how dynamic he is. But you seem like you have a different opinion. I want to hear what you got to say.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Individually, absolutely, you are correct. But the way I saw, the Philadelphia Eagles run throughout the year, when they literally want to establish a 3-headed monster, they can't do that. I mean, you have different speed, different levels, different toughness, and altogether in the running back room, we have the edge. Miles Sanders, man, this dude is a 5.5 yard machine, Mr. Automatic. And then Boston Scott, a tough-nosed runner, a change of pace back, and then you got your Kenneth Gainwell. I mean, yes, it's cute that Christian McCaffrey could do all that, but guess what? This is a big man game, a grown man game. You know what I mean? He's not going to be able to do all that throughout the 4 quarters. So that's why it's important. Yes, Mitchell is good, good, but he's not better than Miles Sanders. I don't even think he's better than Kenneth Gainwell. You know what I mean? Honest truth, man. I think that Kenneth Gainwell is on another level this upcoming season. And if we do happen to move on up from our centers, which I don't want to happen, I think that with Gainwell and whatever running back that we bring in, we'll be fine. But as a whole, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, Philadelphia Eagles have the edge at running back because once you start running the ball, it takes a toll on your body. And you saw on the sideline this past Sunday, Christian McCaffrey over trying to keep his calf strained, loose, and stuff like that. So watch out for that. Watch out for that. Even though he said, "Hey, I'll be all right," but calf muscles, any minute, a strain, it feels a little tight, and then you're trying to push off. Anything could happen. I'm not wishing no injury on nobody, but I saw that this past Sunday where the announcers was like, "Hey, you got to keep an eye out on that." So as a whole, I give the edge to the Philadelphia Eagles as a whole.
Yeah, you know what? It was so important for Kenny Gainwell to have the game that he had, right? Because
Yeah.
when you think about it, he had his first 100-yard game, he had a touchdown, but the way he was running, right? He was running with such physicality, he was running with such force and intention, and he just seemed like he was running like a bat out of hell. Like that game was so important to establish Kenny Gainwell in this playoffs because what it does is it makes the opposition pay attention when he's on the field to know that he can break one like that, right? And this is going to be such a this might be one of the greatest football games that we see because of the sheer physicality that both teams play with, because of the old school mentality both teams play with. They're physical, they run the ball well. You know what I mean? And it's just like you can make an argument that the two best teams in the NFL are playing in the NFC Championship right now.
Yeah.
You can make an argument for that. And I'll take it a step further, man. You can make an argument that the team that wins the NFC Championship, the team that comes out of the NFC, will win it all. You can make an argument for that.
Yeah, absolutely, because they're more balanced than than any team in the AFC. The NFC is defense driven, but they also could put up points. But the AFC is like mostly, offense and bad offensive line. So now you're going, whoever come out this matchup is going to face either the Chiefs or the Bengals with bad offensive line that could and pressure bust pipes. So absolutely, you are correct. I think whoever wins this could possibly be hosting the Lombardi Trophy.
Okay, let's move on to the wide receiver room, right? The 49ers have Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Jawan Jennings, and the Philadelphia Eagles have AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and I'm going to say Zach Pascal because I think Zach Pascal is going to be the one getting most of the snaps in his playoffs, right? I'm pretty sure you noticed in that divisional matchup, he played most of the snaps, and Quez got in here and there. But I think that was also because of the run heavy game plan, which made sense. But also, lately Quez has kind of been a liability, right? He hasn't really been disciplined in his route running. He's kind of been getting out muscled at the point of attack. I just trust Zach Pascal more, and I think having him on the field, I think he's a better route runner, but I think also having him on the field gives you that versatility of having someone who has solid route running ability, someone who has pretty reliable hands, and someone who can also block. But again, the San Francisco 49ers wide receiver room versus the Eagles, I personally give the edge to the Eagles. But what's your thoughts on that?
Same. I give the edge to the Eagles, man. I mean, like anytime you have like two wide receivers over 1,000 yards. I mean, AJ Brown, best season of his career. Devontae Smith right there, with over 1,000 yards, 7 TD. And I call him Mr. Toe Tap himself, man. Sideline toe tap, man.
Toe Tap Smitty.
Toe Tap Smitty, man. He can make all the catches, and he's not afraid to get hit. You know what I mean? Through the middle. So absolutely, I give the edge to the Philadelphia Eagles. But Deebo Samuel, individually, I think that Deebo, AJ Brown.
I personally think they're both excellent wide receivers, but I think it's honestly that situation between AJ Brown, like player for player, AJ Brown and Deebo Samuel. I think that's a matter of I like apple pie, you like cherry pie. You know what I mean? Like it's you pick your flavor of the week.
Yeah,
You dig what I'm saying? Because again, Deebo is used differently. Deebo is used as a Swiss Army
absolutely.
knife. He's used in the running game, used in the passing game. I think AJ Brown is a better wide receiver. I think he's a better receiver.
And
I
that's the
just
thing.
think Deebo is a weapon. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
But I was looking up the numbers because also to add context, they were both
Mhm.
drafted in the same draft class, same year, same round. I think
Wow.
Deebo was drafted maybe about 15 picks ahead, but they both were
Mhm.
drafted in the second round. They both have the same agent, so they're pretty close, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I was looking at the numbers throughout their careers, and
Uh,
it's almost like it's perfect because they came out the same draft. I'm looking at the numbers, and AJ Brown, and I'm gonna use yards from scrimmage because Deebo runs the ball as well.
yeah.
Total yards from scrimmage, AJ Brown has the edge. Total touchdowns, receiving and rushing, AJ Brown has the edge. And AJ Brown has been a bit healthier throughout his career. Not much healthier, but a bit healthier. And
Yeah.
from a receiving perspective, Deebo had that 1,400-yard year last year, but that was the only
Mhm.
1,000-yard year he had. AJ Brown has had 3 1,000-yard seasons on his resume. Could have had a
Yep.
fourth, but he got hurt last year. So I
Mhm.
mean, I think I would if I'm choosing someone to be my wide receiver, I'm choosing AJ Brown. But if I want someone that's going to make my offense a little bit more multiple, a little bit more versatile, I'll take Deebo. But again, apple pie, cherry pie, sweet potato
Yeah.
pie, pumpkin pie. You choose your flavor, and like you live with it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, look, I agree, man. Hey, from a pure wide receiver, a pure bona fide wide receiver, I'm taking AJ Brown all day. I haven't seen Debo as a pure wide receiver. He's everywhere. He's a gadget. He's a weapon, just like you said, right? So from a pure wide receiver, I'm going to take the guy that don't get hit a lot, constantly running the ball, this and that. And that's another reason why Debo may not be able to stay healthy because he's constantly running back, H back, tight end, wide receiver. I don't want that. I mean, I got a tight end for that. I have running back for that. I need a bona fide wide receiver that's going to put the fear of God and DBs, hard every time they look across. Damn, I gotta get him help. Hey, let me get double team over there. You know what I mean? So that's what I want. All right. I have other skill plays to run the ball and stuff like that. So, but overall, weapon Debo, man, you can't go wrong with Debo. But health concerns to me when you touch the ball that many times. I mean, bad things happen. So, but I do give the edge to the Eagles. Yet the wide receiver core.
Yeah. So, really quickly, you guys, make sure you guys smash that like button. I am joined by my brother, JC Sports Talk, man. Make sure you guys like it on his YouTube channel. It's JC Sports Talk. Super easy to find. My man is on the road to 4K, on the road to 5K, man, on the road to every K, man. We taking 8Ks. We taking everything, man. Like whatever you want, we got it. And whatever you need, we can provide it, man. Make sure you guys lock in on my man, JC Sports Talk, man. Real good dude, humble dude, man. Passionate about the Philadelphia Eagles, passionate about the game of football, man, as you guys can already see. So continue to smash that like button. This live stream is only going to get more and more exciting. So we talked about the wide receivers. Let's get to the
Mm-hmm.
tight ends, right? The tight end group.
Yeah. Woo!
I think this is probably the most difficult conversation to have. Dallas
Yeah.
Goedert or George Kittle. So, I'll let you go first. I'll
All right.
let you go first.
Okay. All right. So before Dallas Goedert got hurt, he was arguably the second best tight end in football behind Kelsey. I mean, he was in yak, you know what I mean? Reception, yards. I mean, he was there. And then he got hurt. But guess what? He still lead tight end in yak. He missed 5 weeks and he was still, when he came back from his injury, he was still number one in yak, yard after catch. So how could you, I missed 5 games and you still number one? Overall, man, overall,
Because they're so similar, right? In my opinion, I think they're so similar. They both have
yeah,
great hands. They both are crazy after the catch. Um,
yeah,
they both block extremely well. I think they're the two best blocking tight ends in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
That's my honest opinion, right? And you don't really see too many tight ends that have the full package. Travis Kelce is amazing. He's
Mm-hmm.
he's the best receiving tight end in the NFL. It's no question.
Yeah.
The numbers tell you
Yeah,
that.
Andrews too. Don't forget about Andrews.
Mark Andrews too, right?
Yeah.
But when I think about Travis Kelce, he's a decent downfield blocker. But when it comes to blocking at the point of attack off the line of scrimmage, I'm taking Kittle and I'm taking Goddard, right?
Yes. The only way I give Kittle the edge is he don't really fumble or miss catches. He catches everything that comes his way.
That's
And
true.
Goddard had an issue with drops. You know what I mean? That's the reason why last year, man, was like, man, stop dropping the ball. You know what I mean? Like, catch the ball. So that's the only edge I give to Kittle, man. He's a monster. He's a beast. But he's been also in the league longer than
year long.
Goddard.
Yeah,
You know what I
year
mean?
long,
Like, this is your Goddard first full season as the God. Because remember, last year we had Zach Ertz up
Yes,
to the
you're
trade
right.
deadline.
Yep, you're right.
So this is his first full season, and he was about to have a career year before he got injured. So let's see next year. But this year, I give the slight edge to Kittle.
Yeah, earlier, I think I'm going to go Goddard, man. I think it's because I'm being a homer. I can't lie. I'm gonna keep it funky. Like I said it earlier in my live stream, man. I said, listen, you guys, Goddard, Kittle, that thing is neck and neck, man. But listen, I'm gonna take my guy Goddard, man, because it's so close, because it's so hard to choose. I'm choosing my guy, man. I'm taking Goddard because I'm gonna be a homer I'm gonna be a homer at the tight end position. I ain't going front. I ain't going front, man. So let's go to the offensive line, and I don't think this is a conversation either. Now, I will say this: when it comes to left tackle, the 49ers have the edge. Trent Williams, Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Hasn't missed. Trent Williams is better than Jordan Mailata. I'm sorry. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, Jordan Mailata is younger. Jordan Mailata is still entering his prime. His best years are clearly in front of him. But Trent Williams, he's playing at an all-pro level at the age of 33, 34, right?
Yeah.
He knows all the tricks.
Absolutely.
He knows all the bells and whistles, right? The dude arguably will go down as probably one of the best left tackles to ever play the game. It's a big argument between him and Jason Peters. I would have to dig back into the record books about other guys, right? But Trent Williams, he is, in my opinion, the best offensive lineman that's going to be playing on Sunday. But here's why I say that. I'm going to tell you why I say that. The reason I say Trent Williams is the best offensive lineman that will suit up on Sunday on both teams. The reason I say he's the best offensive lineman is because he's a left tackle. And that left tackle position is so valuable in the NFL. So valuable, right? But then right at his neck is Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson plays right tackle, though. The right tackle position doesn't have or doesn't hold the same value as left tackle because usually left tackles protect the blind side of the quarterback, right? But I think Lane Johnson is right there. But because he's right tackle, I can't really give him the edge over Trent Williams. I just can't. But then after Trent Williams, it's all Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. All Philadelphia Eagles. Lane Johnson, Jason Kelce, Landon Dickerson, Isaac Seumalo, Jordan Mailata. It's like Trent Williams, the entire Eagles offensive line, and then the rest of the 49ers offensive line. I give the edge to the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. What's your thought?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you with the left tackle. All right. He's the best offensive line. Man, that will suit up on Sunday. But I have a counter to your Lane Johnson. Okay. Jason Kelce, man. Jason Kelce, the center, is the brain of operation on that line. Really? Yo, he called the protection. Yeah, Lane, watch out for him. Hey, over there. You know what I mean? Yo, he is. Besides your left tackle, your center is the guy because one misread, one misprotection, it doesn't matter how good your left tackle is. He probably going to get run over or ranked. Something is going to happen. You got to have that dude that solidify your offensive line, and that's the center. Never miss a snap. Mr. All-Pro himself, Jason freaking Kelce, man. He's on Trent Williams' neck right now. It's not Lane Johnson. It is Jason Kelce, man. My guy, man.
And to add to your point,
to be that size and durable and speed, you ain't going to find no other center better than him in the National Football League history. He's the best center.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that. I will give you. I'll add more context to your argument. Right. When you think about Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey,
Yeah,
they haven't given up a sack in 2 years.
yeah,
That's wild. That's a wild
yeah.
stat. Like I don't think people really see. I'll be honest with you, dog. Like the deeper I get into this, this game, right? The deeper I get into this industry, I fall in love. I fall more and more in love with offensive line play. Like offensive line play is so beautiful to watch when you really
Absolutely.
see how the guys, when you see the guys roll out, you see the guys, oh man, when they bounce out. What's the term? I can't believe I'm forgetting the term. When they pull, when you see guys pull, right? When you see just the intricacies and how guys double team and then they come off the double team and pick up another guy and then they pass over a guy to the other. It's offensive line play is so fascinating to me, man, because these guys are literally playing blind, right? They don't know where the quarterback is, but they gotta have their assignments. They gotta keep up with their gaps in there. I really love offensive line play, man. It's something I feel like doesn't get talked about enough. It's a thankless job. I know Dallas Goedert did his thing in that Giants game. I know Kenneth Gainwell did his thing, Miles Sanders, Jalen Hurts, so on and so forth. But the story of that game was the offensive line.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's plenty of time that Mariota, man, he pulled, went around. The offensive line was doing such a great job. He was looking for people to block at the second level. Like there wasn't nobody there. Just like, man, who do I block? I mean, that offensive line is the key. And it's definitely going to be the key on Sunday, man, on both sides. You know what I mean? The 49ers offensive line, can our defensive line dominate them? And then vice versa. Can we protect our quarterback? Because we do have the best offensive line in football.
Yeah, I feel you on that, man. So, we're going up on the hour, man. I do got a couple more things I want to
address. Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Before I get you out of here, man, because, again, I don't want to keep you. I know you just got out of another live stream, so the grind
good, bro. Good.
But, you mentioned the quarterback protecting him and everything, and we know Jalen Hurts was and probably still is dealing with that shoulder injury now. I think that at this point in the season, no one is 100%. No one. So you got to take the good with the bad. But at the same time, seeing Jalen Hurts perform the way he performed in that game, you got to give credit where credit is due, and it had to relieve some level of concern, right? So, what's your thoughts on Jalen Hurts' health right now? And also to take it a step further, just what's been your thoughts about Jalen Hurts' season in general, man? Because he surpassed all expectations.
Yeah, look, absolutely. So I'm going to go backwards. So the concern I have for Jalen Hurts is none. I was at that game watching Jalen Hurts in person from my 200 row section up there. You know what I mean? I wasn't right there, but I was up there. Hey, I could see that he was healthy enough. And you could tell he made it a point to go head first a couple times to show you, hey, I'm healthy. All right, I'm healthy. So you had to account for me. You know what I mean? So regardless if we got a yard, 10 yards, when he kept the ball, that was the key. I promise you, if he was not able to run or at least show people, hey, I can run a little bit, the Giants would not rush for 268. But the threat of him being semi-healthy, pulling it and running it look, he's good to go. After a couple hits, the quarterback draw, the couple of sneak, he's good to go. All right, so now throughout the whole season, July 18th, 2022, I had 5 bold predictions for this season.
Okay.
Number 1, Jalen Hurts winning MVP. Wow. When I heard that he was working out with Tom Brady and some quarterback coach, I forgot his name. He was putting in
Tom House.
Work.
I think Tom House, yeah.
Yeah, he was putting in that work. And if you follow Jalen Hurts to college, this dude is a winner. He's always out to prove the doubters wrong. He's a coach's son. You know what I mean? So if you know coach's son, preacher's kid's son, I mean, if once your father is a certain way, you take that mentality, you know what I mean? And you develop that mentality, that no-die attitude. I will always be the best no matter what. He grew up, you know what I mean, getting cussed out. Hey, you got to do this better. You got to do that better. So when you fall down, he knows how to rise back up. So, look, So he played outstanding this year, and if he did not get hurt for those 2 games, he would have won the MVP, man. But everything happened for a reason. Everything happened for a reason. I promise you. Because Carson Wentz, he should have won the MVP. But guess what? The goal is to win a Super Bowl, and that chip on his shoulder because I got injured. You won the MVP by default, but I'm about to show you why I'm the best quarterback left in this playoff, and the chip is still getting bigger game after game after game. He played outstanding, and guess what? He's only going to get better because next year teams are going to say we need to stop him from running, but his accuracy is going to get better. His timing with his receivers, everything is going to get better. This is probably look. Last year was the worst. This is probably the second worst you're going to see him play, and that's the scary part. That's the scary part because he's learning. He's still learning how to be the NFL quarterback. And I mean, an overall perfect quarterback. And he's going to work on, his flaws again. And he's just going to get better and better. So he definitely deserved the MVP. If not, he will definitely win the Offense Player of the Year.
Yeah, man. What's so beautiful about it? They locked up AJ Brown for the next 4 years, right? He's going to be entering the first year of that contract next season. So we have him for 4 years after this year. And then Devontae Smith, he's in year 2 right now. And then he was a first round pick. So you're going to have him for 3 years because he has that 5th-year option that the team can pick up. So you're going to have for the next 4 years, you're going to have AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. And that chemistry is only going to get better and better and better, right? And, we all know Jalen's going to get paid. We know he's going to get paid, and it's also going to change the way this team's going to get built. It's just a reality. Because when you pay the quarterback, your team just can't get built. Your team can't get tooted and booted like like you wanted to. But that's when drafting becomes that much more important. It's going to be important for this team to draft well going forward. And I think Howie Roseman is starting to see the writing on the wall in terms of just, okay, my drafting has to improve, and it has improved over the past couple of years. I think he's actually trusting his scouts more and more over the past few years. I know a lot of people forget, but that 2018 draft class was pretty decent. You got Dallas Goedert out of that draft class. You got Josh Sweat out of that draft class.
Maddox, I think
you got Avonte Maddox out of that draft class.
Mariota too.
I think Mailata was a 7th rounder in that draft class, if I'm not mistaken. So when you think about that draft class, that's a pretty good draft class. I want to get your opinion on. The rest of the playoffs, right? The Bengals and the Chiefs. That's going to be a really interesting matchup. And right now, as we all know it, Joe Burrow owns Patrick Mahomes right now. Right now, Patrick Mahomes is 0-3 against Joe Burrow, and that's something that Joe Burrow can put on his resume, right? Joe Burrow can say to Patrick Mahomes, "Hey, you better than everybody else, but you ain't better than me."
Yeah.
But again, this is going to be a real interesting matchup. Now, we all know Patrick Mahomes is dealing with that ankle injury, the high ankle sprain, which is serious, actually. Yeah. An injury like that typically keeps you out 2 to 4 weeks. How good will he be? How effective will he be in that AFC Championship game?
Yeah.
Is this thing starting to set up to be an Eagles-Bengals Super Bowl? Because I predicted this before the season started. I had it written down, Eagles-Bengals Super Bowl. But I want to get your thoughts on that AFC Championship game. The dynamic between Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. And hey, if the Eagles beat the 49ers, which I think they will, who's going to be their matchup, man?
Yeah, look, hey, the whole owning thing, I find it funny, right? Because the stinking Dallas Cowboys say, we own the Eagles. Dak Prescott own the Eagles. But guess what? Not in the playoffs. That's where it matters the most because Joe Burrow, hey, he owned the Chiefs. He owned Patrick Mahomes in the most crucial time in the playoffs when things are on the line. So I feel like with this high ankle sprain, Pat did practice today. That's a good sign. And who knows? But I feel like Mahomes is tired of hearing it, man. Mahomes is tired of hearing Joe own me, especially last year when they had the lead. They was dominating the Bengals the whole first half. and in some way, somehow, they took the foot off their gas before halftime, and then they never came out the locker room. And the Bengals came back with double digits down and beat Pat Mahomes. So I feel like this. There's no Tyreek Hill this year. All right. Yes, Pat Mahomes. Hey, he did amazing this year. If he does win the MVP, he deserve it. I mean, everybody thought that the Chiefs was going to finish second in their own division, and they had the same record as the Philadelphia
Some
Eagles.
people had them finishing third in their division.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So you had to give him his props, but I feel like because of the weapons of the Bengals, man, their wide receivers all 6 foot plus, 6'3", big body all across the board in the running game. Look, I feel like the Bengals are going to be too much for the Chiefs. I love Big Red. I would want to see Chiefs, Eagles in the Super Bowl, but it's not going to happen. I have Bengals, Eagles in the Super Bowl because of the weapons that Joe Burrow playing, and they are getting hot at the right time. That defense all of a sudden is becoming a shutdown defense, a dominant defense. Eli Apple, you know what I mean? He's smelling himself and stuff like that. But I feel like that they are getting confident, and Joe Burrow is on a mission. Last year, they only lost to the Super Bowl because Aaron Donald blew up a play. Look, if Joe Burrow had one more a split second, Jamar Chase was open down the right side for a game-winning touchdown. But Aaron Donald blew up the play. So I feel like they are hungrier, they're younger, and Joe Burrow is the better quarterback pocket-wise overall. Pat Mahomes when your play break down, but Joe Burrow, man, he could do it all. Pocket passes, just throw outside, and he got the weapons, man. So I agree. Bengals are moving on.
This is it's so funny. People say this is what I've been hearing, right? Mahomes is the better player, but Burrow is the better quarterback.
Yeah,
that's what I've been hearing, right? And it's interesting because Mahomes is like this electric player that he just makes magic happen, right? He's exciting, right? Mahomes is a quarterback that just, let's be honest, Mahomes has no fundamentals, right? It's pure talent.
None.
Like he doesn't play the game with any level of fundamentals, man. Like he plays football like he's playing basketball. That's the kind of swag, that's the kind of juice he plays the sport with. But Joe Burrow, he's, in my opinion, I think he's much more fundamentally sound from top to bottom when you think of Patrick Mahomes. But Patrick Mahomes still has the hardware. Super Bowl, will be a 2-time MVP. He was an All Pro. I still think it's gonna take a Super Bowl for me to definitively say Joe Burrow is better than Patrick Mahomes. I need to see that. I understand Joe Burrow has won the matchups, but I need the accolades. I need the accolades to kind of match that domination of Patrick Mahomes. If he gets a Super Bowl, if he beats him in the AFC Championship and then gets that Super Bowl, now we can start saying, I think he's better than him definitively, without question.
Look, you could be. I mean, both could be correct.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not like it's a wrong answer, right? It's no wrong answer.
Overall, Pat Mahomes is backyard ball. Hey, the play is broken down left hand, sidearm, close eyes. And over here, backwards. He could do it all. But fundamentals sometimes, man, fundamentals, man. Just like if you're boxing someone, even though he might be a better fighter or, just fighting someone, but technique over strength, they call it. And you could be stronger than me, but my technique will overtake you because you're wild. You're wild right now. You just swinging and stuff like that. So the fundamentals, at the end of the day, Pat Mahomes, he threw the worst interception because he's trying to do too much. Like he's just backyard ball intercepting, But fundamentals is like technique over strength to me. So I feel like that Joe Burrow is the better quarterback pocket wise, but overall better player. I have to go with Pat Mahomes, but they both could be right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like again, cherry pie, apple pie, blueberry pie. You choose your pie. Like I ain't gonna get mad at you. You know what I mean? Man, we're gonna start to close out the show, JC. Man, once again, you guys, make sure y'all smash that like button. I always have fun when me and my man JC get together. This has been a really good live stream, you guys, because
Yeah.
we discussed the roster. We talked about matchups, and real quick, let's kind of end it on that note, right? I think this game is going to come down to matchups, and it's going because the teams, and I think everyone in the live stream could kind of agree with this, because the teams are so evenly matched from a talent perspective, because they're so evenly matched. I think this game is going to come down to the quarterback position. Which quarterback makes the least amount of mistakes? Which quarterback takes advantage of their opportunities, right? Which quarterback is able to sustain drives, right? So, what's your thoughts on that notion that because they're so evenly matched, could this game come down to the quarterback play?
Absolutely. This game is going to come down to the quarterback play. And you saw it this past Sunday. The worst quarterback lost the game. Whoever played, because the Cowboys defense played well enough to win that game, but that quarterback made so many mistakes at the worst time that they could not overcome it. And Brock Purdy did just enough. I mean, he wasn't, wow, and like, oh my God, wow, look at that. Look how, perfect he is. No, he did enough. He did not turn the ball over. He didn't even throw for a touchdown, right? No interception, no touchdown, but they came out with the victory. Why? Because Dak Prescott played worse. So it's going to come down to the quarterback, and it's also going to come down to end game adjustments. Not halftime adjustments, but every offensive play, every defensive play, you come onto the sideline, what do you see? What are we doing? Hey, how can we do this? Hey, how could you get open? Every offensive play, every defensive play is going to be in right there. Do not wait till halftime because it might be too late, right? You know what I mean? So it's going to come down to end game adjustment, coaching, and quarterback play. Whoever does those two things better will be walking out or will be just going into the locker room and celebrating because they are heading to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, really quickly, it's so funny. I'm reading over the chat, and a lot of people feel like it's going to come down to who can stop the run, right? Some people say, well, if the Eagles can't stop the run, the Niners are going to win this game. But my retort to that is, and I think someone else in the chat said it, the Niners have to worry about stopping the run as well. I understand the Niners are one of the better run-stopping teams. The Eagles' run defense has improved, but here's the thing, right? Regardless of what happened in the regular season, this is about matchups today. This is about the playoffs. This is about what happens on Sunday afternoon. And I feel like both teams are two of the top rushing teams in the NFL. Both teams have running back talents that need to be accounted for. And again, if the 49ers can't stop the run, it's over. If the Eagles can't stop the run, it's over. So, again, this is a battle of the Titans. These are the two best teams, in my opinion, in the NFL, but definitively, these are the two best teams in the NFC. The number 1 seed and the number 2 seed facing off. The number 1 defense and the number 2 defense facing off, right? Two top 5 offenses. This is going to be a battle of the football gods. This is literally Hercules versus Hades, right? This is Zeus versus Poseidon. You dig what I'm saying? Like this is going to be a matchup worth watching. This will be the football game of the year. I think this game will supersede whatever we see in the Super Bowl. Regardless of the outcome, this game is going to be physical. It's going to be nasty. It's going to be dirty. It's going to be grimy. There will be casualties. You see, the Niners, the Eagles, they are two teams that they can say without a doubt they don't breathe the same air as everybody else. All those other teams in the NFC, they don't breathe the same air as the 49ers or the Eagles. And to be in that rarefied air, to be a part of this journey with the Philadelphia Eagles, to even be a part of this journey with the other 49ers fans, because we have 49ers fans in the live chat as well, and they holding it down. You see, I'm big on giving kudos, respect to the opposition, but just know I'm ready to punch you in the mouth too. You know what I'm saying? I respect you. Listen, I respect you. I respect you, and I love you. And I love you enough to let you know when you're wrong. I love you. And I respect you enough to let you know that it's time to sit your behind down. So look, man, I think we all in this live chat, in this live stream, I think we all can say without a fact, these are the two best teams in the NFC. And The best team that puts together their best game plan will win that game. Mano a mano. Listen, my shoulder pad against your shoulder pad, my will versus your will, my desire versus your desire. At the end of the day, man, the best team will win. The strongest man will win. And we're going to find out how this thing go. But JC, before we get out of here, man, I want you to shout out your channel. I want you to tell people what you got going on. I want you to just give the ultimate promotion for yourself, my man. The floor is yours.
Look, man. Hey, first off, man. Hey, appreciate you, Tone, man. My guy, man. My brother, man. From another mother, man. You've been supporting me from day one. So that's why when you call, I haul. You know what I mean? I'm here for you, man. So whenever you need me. And if you're watching, man, and you're not subscribed to this guy, man, on his Twitter, man, just go follow him, man. He's doing big things out there, man. You know what I mean? So definitely just kudos to him, man. But hey, you can find me on JC Sports Talk, man. Is right there. Just type in JC Sports Talk on YouTube. I'm there almost weekly. I do play-by-plays. And when I'm at the game, I be doing, the lives and stuff like that. I be just putting videos up, fan interviews, man. I try to find some fans for the Giants, man. Definitely, man. Just go check out this channel, man. On the road to 4K. But also, man, look, tomorrow I have some Niners content creator coming on, CG Ruthless from the 49ers. And also Friday night, man, if you know Simone with the sports, man, we are doing a fan call-in. A fan call-in before the big championship game on Sunday. And we want to hear how you feeling out there. So call in is definitely Friday Night Lights, 8 p.m. Me with Simone with the sports. We will be live on both channels. So definitely want to tune in. And of course, on Twitter, JC Sports Talk 20 on Twitter. I'm constantly defending the Philadelphia Eagles players, coaches, fans, content creators. It doesn't matter. I am the lawyer for the Philadelphia Eagles community out there. So definitely want to tap into that, man. On the road to 5K followers on my Twitter page, man. So definitely come have fun with your boy. I try to be heavy on there. I'm always post a lot of stuff, sports, breaking news, whatever it is. Just come and hang out with me, man. But thank you once again, Tone, man. You are my guy, man. Thank you very much.
Hey, listen, JC, as always, my guy. Listen, my home is your home, my guy. Listen, as long as you make sure you wipe your feet at the door, you're good. Listen, you guys have been locked in on Chalk It Up Sports. Hold on, wait, before I got here, man. Like I said, go subscribe to JC Sports Talk, please. Make sure you guys go subscribe. Like, if you guys rock with me, you'll definitely rock with JC. I promise you, he will not disappoint, man. Again, like he said, live streams. He's always at the games. He streams other games as well. If you're fans of other teams, he's just so locked in. He's so immersed in this thing, man. Y'all see the background. Y'all see the fandom. Y'all see how much he's locked in. Y'all see that Weapon X big baller chain behind him. Y'all know how he get down, man. He is JC Sports Talk. I'm your guy, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. One love, stay humble, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay hungry. And we out of here, JC.
Go Birds.